Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today's video dives deep into the fascinating world of the United States of America 1965 Washington Quarter Dollar Coin, a piece that marks a dramatic turning point in U.S. coinage and continues to capture the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike. The birth of a turning point coin. The year 1965 stands as one of the most important years in American numismatics. This was the moment when the United States officially changed the metal composition of its circulating coinage. For decades, Washington quarters were struck in silver, giving them intrinsic value beyond their face denomination. Rising silver prices and economic pressure forced the government to act, and the result was a completely new type of quarter. The Washington quarter of this era became the first regular issue to move away from precious metal and into a copper-nickel clad composition. This shift was not just technical, it was symbolic. The 1965 Washington quarter represents the end of an era and the beginning of a modern coinage system. That alone makes it historically significant and deeply interesting to collectors. Understanding the Washington quarter design. To truly appreciate this coin, you must understand its design. The obverse features the dignified portrait of George Washington, originally created by John Flanagan. Washington faces left, his expression calm and resolute, reflecting leadership, endurance, and the ideals of the nation. The words "Liberty and in God We Trust" frame the portrait, reinforcing the cultural values embedded in American coinage. On the reverse, an eagle stands proudly with wings spread wide, clutching arrows that symbolize strength and defense, while olive branches represent peace. This design had already become iconic by the time the 1965 quarter was released, and its familiarity adds to its charm. The mystery of the missing mint mark. One of the most intriguing aspects of the 1965 Washington quarter is the absence of a mint mark. During this transitional period, the United States Mint intentionally removed mint marks from coins. The reason was simple yet fascinating. Officials believed that mint marks encouraged coin hoarding, especially when silver was involved. As a result, all Washington quarters from this year were struck without mint marks, regardless of where they were produced. This detail often confuses new collectors and sparks curiosity. A missing mint mark on this coin is not an error, it is a deliberate and historically important choice that sets this issue apart from many others. Metal composition and what it means. Unlike earlier Washington quarters made of silver, the 1965 version introduced a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel. This clad construction changed everything. The coin no longer carried intrinsic silver value, but it gained durability and allowed the mint to produce coins more efficiently for everyday use. Collectors often see this coin as the bridge between classic and modern American coinage. It may not shine with silver content, but it shines with historical importance. Understanding this composition helps explain why some examples are far more valuable than others, why condition is everything when it comes to coin collecting. Condition can mean the difference between pocket change and a serious collectible. Most 1965 Washington quarters circulated heavily. They were used in stores, vending machines, and cash registers across the country. As a result, many examples show wear, scratches, and dull surfaces. However, coins that survived in exceptional condition tell a different story. Brilliant, sharply struck pieces with strong details and clean surfaces are far rarer. These high-grade examples are where collector interest truly peaks. The fewer marks and imperfections a coin has, the more desirable it becomes. The role of errors and special strikes. Another reason this quarter fascinates collectors is the possibility of unusual strikes or mint errors. During the transition year, the mint faced massive production demands and changes in materials. This environment created opportunities for mistakes, including double details, off-center strikes, and planchet irregularities. While not every error coin is valuable, certain types can dramatically increase a quarter's worth. Collectors are always on the lookout for something different, something that stands out from the millions of standard issues produced during that year. Collector demand and historical appeal. Demand plays a crucial role in determining value. The 1965 Washington quarter appeals to a wide audience. Beginner collectors are drawn to it because it is affordable and historically important. Advanced collectors appreciate it as a key transitional piece. Historians see it as a symbol of economic change in the United States. This broad appeal keeps interest strong year after year. Even though the coin is common in circulated condition, top-quality examples and unusual varieties remain highly sought after. The story behind the value is never just about metal or age. It is about story, rarity, and condition coming together in the right way. A 1965 Washington quarter that survived untouched, preserved with exceptional detail, represents a rare snapshot of history. It is a coin that avoided the wear of daily life and emerged decades later as a collectible treasure. Collectors are willing to pay significant sums for such examples because they represent the very best of a historically important issue. Each one tells a story of survival, care, and chance, why this coin still matters today in today's world of digital payments and virtual currency. Holding a physical coin like the 1965 Washington quarter feels grounding. It connects us to a moment when the United States reshaped its monetary system. It reminds us that even small objects can reflect massive economic and cultural shifts. For collectors, this coin is a lesson in paying attention. What seems ordinary today may become extraordinary tomorrow. The 1965 Washington quarter proves that value can hide in plain sight. Final thoughts as we come to the end of this journey. Remember that the 1965 Washington quarter dollar is more than just a piece of change. It is a historical marker, a collector's challenge, and a reminder of how quickly the world can change. Whether you are a seasoned numismatist or someone just discovering the hobby, this coin invites curiosity and respect. Journey takes us into the heart of American numismatics, focusing on a single coin that many people have held, spent, or overlooked without realizing the story it carries. We are diving deep into the United States of America 1990 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar, a coin that represents an era, a minting tradition, and a fascinating blend of everyday use and collectible intrigue. Imagine the United States at the dawn of the 1990s. The Cold War was ending, technology was beginning to reshape daily life, and America stood at a crossroads between tradition and transformation. In the pockets of millions of Americans, change jingled quietly, including the Washington quarter that had already been part of the nation's coinage for decades. By 1990, the Washington quarter was a familiar companion, yet each year and each mint left subtle differences that now matter deeply to collectors. The Washington quarter design itself carries powerful symbolism. On the front, the dignified profile of George Washington looks steadily forward, a reminder of leadership, endurance, and national identity. This portrait, originally introduced in the early 20th century, had become iconic by the time the 1990 quarter was struck. The design was not flashy, but it was strong, conservative, and confident, reflecting the values many associated with the country at the time. Turning the coin over, the eagle spreads its wings, a symbol of strength and freedom. The reverse design had been in use for decades, and by 1990 it represented continuity. While the world around the coin was changing rapidly, the quarter remained reassuringly familiar. That sense of stability is part of what makes this coin so interesting today, especially when we focus on the example struck at the Denver Mint. The small letter D on the coin tells us where it was born. The Denver Mint has a long and respected history, known for producing large quantities of coins for circulation while maintaining solid quality standards. In 1990, the Denver Mint was operating at full efficiency, striking millions of quarters intended for everyday use. These coins traveled far and wide, passing through countless hands, cash registers, and wallets. Because of this heavy circulation, truly well-preserved examples of the 1990 D Washington quarter are not as common as many people assume. Most were used, worn down over time, and eventually lost or stored away without care. This is where the story becomes especially interesting for collectors. The value and worth of a coin are not determined solely by its age, but by its condition, its originality, and the story it tells through its surfaces. When collectors examine a 1990 D quarter today, they look closely at the details. The sharpness of Washington's hair, the clarity of the lettering, and the strength of the eagle's feathers all matter. Coins that avoided heavy circulation and retained their original mint luster stand out dramatically from those that show years of wear. This contrast is what transforms an ordinary-looking quarter into a potential treasure. Another factor that adds intrigue is the quality of the strike. Even within the same year and mint, coins can vary. Some were struck with strong pressure, bringing out crisp details, while others were weaker, leaving softer features. Collectors appreciate examples where the design elements appear bold and well-defined, as these coins better represent the mint's craftsmanship at the time. The metal composition of the 1990 Washington quarter also plays a role in its story. Made from a copper core with a nickel outer layer, the coin was designed for durability rather than intrinsic metal value. This makes condition even more important, because the worth of the coin comes from preservation and demand rather than precious metal content. In a way, this challenges collectors to look beyond material and focus on history and artistry. What makes the 1990 quarter especially compelling is that it sits on the edge of a major shift in American coinage. Less than a decade later, the familiar eagle reverse would be replaced by the State Quarters program, one of the most popular coin series in U.S. history. That change marked the end of an era, and coins like the 1990 quarter now represent the closing chapter of a long-standing design tradition. For many collectors, this coin sparks nostalgia. It reminds them of trips to the store, arcade games, vending machines, and the simple pleasure of counting change. Yet nostalgia alone does not drive interest. The coin has gained attention because high-quality examples are increasingly difficult to find, and demand continues to grow among those who appreciate classic U.S. coinage. Authentication and grading also play a major role in determining worth. Coins that have been professionally examined and preserved often command greater respect in the collecting community. These coins are protected from environmental damage and mishandling, allowing future generations to see them as they once were. The 1990 quarter, when found in exceptional condition, becomes a bridge between past and present. Collectors often describe the excitement of discovering such a coin unexpectedly. It might appear in an old roll of quarters, a forgotten jar of change, or a family collection tucked away for years. That moment of realization, when a common coin reveals uncommon potential, is one of the joys of numismatics. As interest in classic quarters grows, the 1990 Washington quarter has earned its place in conversations about modern collectible coins. It is not rare in the traditional sense, but rarity in high condition is what sets it apart. This distinction is crucial and often misunderstood by beginners. Millions were made, yet only a fraction survived in the state collector's desire. This coin also serves as a reminder that value is not always obvious at first glance. Something ordinary can become extraordinary with time, care, and the right perspective. The 1990 quarter teaches us to look closer, to appreciate detail, and to respect. We journey into the fascinating world of the 1995 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar, a coin many people overlook, yet one that holds surprising importance and collector interest. Setting the historical stage, the year 1995 was a time of transition in the United States. The nation was moving confidently toward a new millennium. Technology was expanding, culture was shifting, and the economy was steadily evolving. In the middle of all this change, the United States Mint continued its quiet but powerful tradition, producing coins that would circulate through millions of hands, carrying history in metal form. The Washington quarter had already been a familiar face for decades. Introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, it became one of the most recognized coins in American circulation. By 1995, the design had long been established, but every new year added a new chapter to its story. Understanding the P Mint Mark. The small letter P on the 1995 Washington quarter stands for the Philadelphia Mint. This mint is one of the oldest and most respected institutions in American coinage history. Coins struck here often represent consistency, tradition, and high production standards. In 1995, the Philadelphia Mint produced a large number of quarters for circulation. These coins were intended for everyday use, buying groceries, paying tolls, dropping into vending machines. Yet among these ordinary pieces, some coins stood out due to condition, strike quality, and preservation. Design and artistic details. The obverse of the 1995 P Washington quarter features the iconic left-facing profile of George Washington. His strong jawline, tied hair, and dignified expression symbolize leadership and resilience. The word "Liberty" arcs across the top, while "In God We Trust" sits respectfully to the left. Below Washington's portrait, the date 1995 is clearly visible, anchoring the coin in its historical moment. Turn the coin over, and the reverse displays a proud American eagle with outstretched wings. The eagle clutches arrows, symbolizing strength and readiness, while olive branches represent peace. Surrounding the eagle are the words, United States of America, and $quarter. The phrase, E pluribus unum, rests above the eagle, reminding us of unity from diversity, metal composition and physical characteristics. The 1995 P. Washington quarter is composed of a copper core clad with outer layers of nickel. This composition gives the coin durability, a bright silver-like appearance, and resistance to wear. It weighs approximately 5 2/3 grams and has a reeded edge, a feature originally designed to prevent coin clipping. These physical traits may seem technical, but for collectors, they matter deeply. Weight consistency, edge sharpness, and surface quality all play major roles in determining a coin's desirability. Circulation versus collector condition. Most 1995 P quarters entered circulation and experienced wear. Over time, scratches, dull surfaces, and flattened details became common. However, a small number of coins escaped heavy use. These pieces were stored carefully, sometimes straight from mint rolls or official sets. Coins that remain in exceptional condition often display sharp details, strong luster, and clean surfaces. These qualities dramatically increase interest among collectors, especially those focused on modern-era Washington quarters. Why collectors care about the 1995 P quarter? At first glance, the 1995 P Washington quarter might seem too modern to be exciting. But modern coins have their own appeal. Collectors often seek complete date and mint sets, and the Philadelphia issue is a crucial part of that puzzle. Additionally, some 1995 P quarters exhibit particularly strong strikes or eye-catching luster. When paired with professional grading, these factors elevate the coin beyond its face value and into the realm of serious collecting. Grading and preservation. Coin grading evaluates condition on a detailed scale. Higher-grade coins show minimal marks, excellent surface quality, and original mint luster. For the 1995 P Washington quarter, coins that achieve high grades are especially desirable because they are far less common than circulated examples. Preservation plays a key role here. Coins stored in protective holders, away from moisture and handling, retain their quality. Even slight differences in storage can dramatically affect long-term appearance. The emotional side of coin collecting. Beyond metal and numbers, coin collecting is about connection. Holding a 1995 P Washington quarter can spark memories of the mid-1990s, school days, road trips, or first jobs. For some collectors, these coins represent personal history as much as national heritage. Collectors often enjoy the thrill of finding a high-quality coin where others see nothing special. That sense of discovery is what keeps the hobby alive and growing. Modern coins and long-term interest. While older coins often dominate headlines, modern issues like the 1995 P Washington quarter are gaining attention. As time passes, fewer high-grade examples remain. Damage, loss, and melting reduce numbers slowly but surely. This gradual reduction increases collector demand, especially for coins that remain in pristine condition. Over decades, today's common coin can become tomorrow's sought-after collectible. Closing thoughts. The 1995 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter is more than pocket change. It is a product of American craftsmanship, history, and continuity. From its dignified design to its role in daily commerce, it tells a quiet but meaningful story. Video dives deep into one such coin that many people have spent without a second thought: the United States of America 1998 P Mint Mark Washington $quarter. This is not just a piece of pocket change. It is a symbol of American history, minting craftsmanship, and the curiosity that drives collectors to look twice at everyday money. Stay with me as we explore its background, design, minting story, condition factors, and why this specific quarter continues to spark interest among coin enthusiasts across the country. Historical background of the Washington quarter. To truly appreciate the 1998 P Washington quarter, we need to understand the long legacy behind the Washington quarter series itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in the early 1930s as a tribute to George Washington, the first President of the United States. Originally intended as a one-year commemorative design, it became so popular and meaningful that it turned into a permanent feature of American coinage. By the time the late 1990s arrived, the Washington quarter had already been in circulation for decades. It had passed through generations, wars, economic changes, and technological advancements in minting. The 1998 issue came right at the edge of a major transition, just before the launch of the state quarters program. That timing alone makes it historically interesting, as it represents one of the last traditional Washington quarters before a new era of circulating coin designs began. Understanding the P Mint mark. The mint mark on a coin tells an important part of its story. The P Mint mark stands for the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most significant mints in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint has played a central role in American coin production since the nation's earliest days. In 1998, the Philadelphia Mint produced a massive number of Washington quarters for circulation. These coins were struck to meet everyday commerce needs, meaning they were meant to be used, spent, and circulated widely. However, even among large production runs, certain coins stand out due to condition, striking quality, and collector demand. The presence of the P Mint mark connects this quarter directly to a historic institution that has shaped American money for more than 2 centuries. Design details and artistic elements. At first glance, the 1998 P Washington quarter may look identical to many others. But when you slow down and really observe it, the artistry becomes more apparent. On the obverse, you see the familiar profile of George Washington, facing left. His expression is calm and dignified, reflecting leadership and endurance. The word liberty arcs across the top, while the motto "In God We Trust" sits to the left of Washington's portrait. The date rests clearly at the bottom. The reverse features a heraldic eagle with outstretched wings, clutching arrows, and an olive branch. This imagery symbolizes strength, readiness, and peace, all at once. Above the eagle is the phrase "United States of America," and below it is the denomination, quarter dollar. The design is bold yet balanced, a classic representation of American ideals that had already stood the test of time. By 1998, composition and physical characteristics. The 1998 P Washington quarter is composed of a copper core with outer layers of nickel. This clad composition gives the coin durability while maintaining a silver-like appearance. The edge shows the familiar reeded pattern, a feature originally intended to prevent coin clipping in earlier centuries. Its weight, thickness, and diameter were standardized to ensure consistency in vending machines and commerce. While these technical details might seem routine, they play an important role in how collectors evaluate authenticity and condition. Any deviation in these physical characteristics can instantly spark interest or raise questions about minting anomalies, circulation, and everyday use. During its time of release, the 1998 P Washington quarter entered circulation alongside millions of others. People used it to buy snacks, make phone calls, and fill parking meters. It passed through countless hands without anyone suspecting it would one day become the subject of collector discussions and value assessments. Because these quarters circulated so widely, finding examples in pristine condition today can be challenging. Most show signs of wear, small scratches, or dulling from years of use. That is why collectors place such importance on condition. A well-preserved coin tells a different story than one that has been heavily circulated. Condition, grading, and collector interest. One of the most important factors influencing the worth of any coin is its condition. Coin grading is a specialized skill that evaluates surface preservation, strike quality, luster, and overall eye appeal. For the 1998 P Washington quarter, higher-grade examples can attract serious attention from collectors who focus on late 20th century coinage. Uncirculated coins, especially those with strong luster and minimal imperfections, are particularly desirable. These coins may have been saved shortly after minting or carefully stored for years. Collectors appreciate them as snapshots of how the coin looked when it first left the mint presses. Why collectors care about this coin? You might wonder why collectors would care about a modern quarter that was produced in large numbers. The answer lies in timing, condition, rarity, and the human love of completion. The 1998 P Washington quarter represents the closing chapter of a long-running design era. For collectors assembling complete sets, this coin is an essential piece of the puzzle. Additionally, collectors often search for coins that stand out due to exceptional quality. A sharply struck example with vibrant luster can be far more appealing than an average circulated piece. This pursuit turns an ordinary object into a treasure hunt, driven by patience and attention to detail. The emotional side of coin collecting. Coin collecting is not just about metal and money. It is about stories, memories, and connection. Many collectors remember handling Washington quarters as children, perhaps receiving them as change from a parent or grandparent. Holding a 1998 P quarter today can bring back memories of that time period, from music and fashion to world events. This emotional connection adds depth to the coin's appeal. It becomes more than a quarter, it becomes a tangible link to the past. That emotional value, combined with historical significance, fuels ongoing interest in the coin collecting community. Long-term perspective and market attention. Over time, attention toward specific coins can grow as collectors reassess modern issues. As fewer high-quality examples remain available, demand can increase. The 1998 P Washington quarter has gradually found its place in discussions about late 20th century coinage. Collectors who focus on condition, rarity, transitional years, or complete Washington quarter sets continue to watch this coin closely. Its place just before the state quarters revolution gives it a special identity that sets it apart from both earlier and later issues. Final thoughts and value mention. As we come to the end of this deep exploration, it becomes clear that the 1998 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar is far more interesting than it first appears. It carries history, artistry, nostalgia, and collector intrigue all within a small, everyday object. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone who simply enjoys learning about the hidden stories in pocket change, this coin offers something worth appreciating. Today, we are not just talking about spare change. We are uncovering a story that connects the birth of a nation, the evolution of American coinage, and the surprising worth that can be hiding in plain sight. The United States quarter dollar has always been more than just a tool for everyday transactions. It has served as a canvas for American identity, honoring leaders, milestones, and moments that define the nation. The 2001 D quarter stands at a unique crossroads of history and modern minting, combining classic symbolism with contemporary production. As we explore this coin, you'll discover why collectors pay close attention to details that many people overlook. To truly understand the significance of the 2001 D 1788 quarter, we need to step back in time. The year 1788 is deeply rooted in American history. It represents the period when the United States Constitution was ratified, laying the foundation for the federal government as we know it today. This was a moment when the idea of a united nation transformed from vision into reality. By referencing 1788, this quarter subtly honors the birth of American democracy and governance. Fast forward to 2001, a year that marked the beginning of a new millennium. The United States Mint was in the midst of producing coins that reflected both tradition and innovation. The quarter dollar, already one of the most widely circulated coins in the country, became a powerful storytelling tool. The inclusion of historical references like 1788 helped bridge America's past with its present. At first glance, the 2001 D quarter may appear similar to other quarters of its era. However, a closer look reveals layers of meaning embedded in its design. The obverse typically features George Washington, a symbol of leadership, unity, and independence. His portrait is not just decorative, it represents the ideals upon which the nation was built. The inscriptions surrounding the design reinforce these themes. Words such as liberty and the Declaration of Trust in God echo the values that guided early American society. The subtle reference to 1788 connects Washington's leadership to the constitutional framework that shaped the country's future. Every line, curve, and inscription plays a role in telling a larger story. One of the most important details on this coin is the mint mark. The letter D indicates that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint. For collectors, mint marks are not just letters, they are clues. They tell us where a coin was made and often influence its desirability and value. The Denver Mint has a long-standing reputation for producing high-quality coins in large quantities. Coins from this mint are known for their strong strikes and consistent details. However, even within large production runs, certain coins stand out due to condition, rarity of errors, or historical appeal. The 2001 D quarter with the 1788 reference captures attention because it combines a modern mint mark with a deeply historical nod. Coin collecting is more than a hobby, it is a passion driven by curiosity, history, and the thrill of discovery. Collectors are drawn to coins like the 2001 D 1788 quarter because they represent more than monetary value. They symbolize a connection to the past and a tangible piece of American heritage. For many collectors, the appeal lies in the balance between accessibility and significance. This quarter is not an ancient artifact locked away in a museum. It is a coin that circulated, passed through countless hands, and yet managed to preserve its story. Finding one in excellent condition can feel like uncovering a hidden treasure. When discussing the worth of any coin, condition plays a crucial role. Coins that show minimal wear, sharp details, and clean surfaces are often more desirable. The 2001 D quarter is no exception. Collectors look closely at the clarity of Washington's portrait, the crispness of inscriptions, and the overall eye appeal. Preservation is key. Coins that have been carefully stored, protected from scratches and environmental damage, tend to retain their charm and value. Even subtle differences in luster or surface quality can significantly influence how a coin is perceived within the collecting community. In today's fast-paced digital world, physical currency often feels less important than electronic transactions. Yet, coins like the 2001 D 1788 quarter remind us that money is also a historical artifact. Each coin tells a story about the time it was made, the values it represents, and the people who used it. For younger collectors and history enthusiasts, this quarter serves as an entry point into the broader world of numismatics. It shows that you don't need centuries-old coins to explore meaningful history. Sometimes, modern coins carry just as much narrative power. There is something deeply personal about holding a coin that represents both national history and individual curiosity. For some, the 2001 D 1788 quarter sparks memories of learning about the Constitution in school. For others, it inspires a deeper appreciation for the craftsmanship behind everyday objects. Coins often pass quietly through our lives, unnoticed. But when we pause and look closer, we realize they are witnesses to countless moments. The 2001 D quarter has traveled through wallets, cash registers, and collections, silently carrying its story forward. Every collector becomes a storyteller. By preserving and sharing coins like this quarter, collectors keep history alive. They pass on knowledge, spark conversations, and encourage others to look beyond face value. The 1788 reference invites questions, research, and reflection, making this coin a conversation starter as much as a collectible. This is why YouTube videos, discussions, and shared stories are so powerful in the coin community. They transform metal discs into narratives that inspire curiosity and respect for history. As we reach the end of our journey, take a moment to think about the coins you encounter every day. How many stories are hiding in your pocket right now? The United States of America 2001 D 1788 $quarter coin is a perfect example of how history, artistry, and value can come together in a single piece of metal. It reminds us that even in the modern era, coins remain symbols of identity and continuity. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone just beginning to explore the world of numismatics, this quarter offers a meaningful connection to America's past and present.